Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our quarterly Small Cap Growth Conference. Our next presentation is from ZRCN Corporation. Please note, attendees may submit questions and view our presenters' availability for meetings by clicking Questions and Book Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome John Stauss. He's the Chief Executive Officer of ZRCN Corporation, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol ZRCN. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank all of you for attending our presentation today. Some of you may be vaguely familiar with the name ZRCN, and if so, it's because we've been around for a while. As a matter of fact, 50 years this year. And we have a kind of a long-standing brand and a reputation in the home improvement industry. We're famous for the stud sensor. Stud sensor utilizes what was at the time a very novel technology in order to accurately locate wooden studs inside the wall. When we introduced this thing back in 1982, it was quite amazing. Everybody's had the experience of knocking on the wall, trying to find where the stud is, and even worse, trying to find the stud, then drill a hole in the wall and missing the stud. So you drill or your hammer goes right through, and you still haven't securely hung that mirror or that picture up. Well, the stud sensor solved that problem by sensing, very accurately sensing changes in wall density. We were able to pinpoint both edges of a stud and allowing the user to sink his nail right in the middle of that stud for a secure and safe home improvement project. That device was patented by ZRCN, and we took it to market in the early 80s when the home improvement industry was a much different world than it exists today. There were literally dozens of home center chains and mom and pop stores and distributors around the country, and we sold them all. Over the course of years, we went around and we convinced people that this was a valuable tool to have on the tool wall in their shop. And the sales performance of the device bore fruit in a way that no one could have imagined. In many circumstances, the stud sensor was in the top 10 or even the top 5 in terms of unit sales off of the tool wall, right up there with tape measures and cutting knives and some other things. It truly is a mass market industry. In fact, it became so strong of a business for us that we decided early on that we needed to configure our company in order to capitalize on this market opportunity and keep feeding it in terms of new products, reliable delivery, and all the rest of it. So we did that over the course of the late 80s and throughout the 90s, and along with selling and building our market share and our brand in the category, the product category, we configured our company to become an R&D company. We're based here in Campbell, California, which is the heart of Silicon Valley, and we were able to recruit and bring into the company some of the finest hardware engineers that were in the world at that time, all with the goal of taking the ZRCN business and expanding it into new areas, expanding it into new markets, and expand it with ever increasing levels of innovation in hardware design and in the product features and benefits itself. We also realized that we had to become a very competent manufacturing company, because highly reliable products that are sold in the millions don't just appear. And it wasn't something that we felt comfortable delegating to a third-party factory. So we became a very competent supply chain company, including owning and operating our own factory, which we established in Ensenada, Mexico, back in 1989. And so that, in essence, is what I call the three-legged stool of our company. We have a strong brand and a distribution system that's second to none in the home improvement industry throughout North America and increasingly global. We have a very persistent and ongoing R&D capability, which continues to feed us with new product possibilities and new technology. And we're a very competent manufacturing company. So our supply chains are very robust, and they very reliably feed our customers, who are the most demanding customers in the world. And that's our strategy, and we're sticking to it. Next slide, please. This basically summarizes what I've just sort of told you already. We have proprietary technology. It's all ours. Our stable of patents, over the years, we've built up approaches about 100 patents across different product lines and different levels of maturity. We have a strong brand. People trust us. They know us because we've never taken shortcuts in terms of delivering a quality product. We have a large addressable market. One thing about stud finders in particular is that they do best in areas where wood frame construction is commonplace. And so our strongest markets to date are in North America, that'd be the US and Canada, Scandinavia, and also in Japan. Other parts of the world use a lot more brick and stone. So we have technologies that we've introduced, that we currently market, and a lot of new stuff under our belt that is intended to broadly address needs of the construction industry worldwide. We're a manufacturing company, and we don't take shortcuts. We don't delegate critical manufacturing aspects like document control, like engineering change orders, like quality levels, quality inspection, and all the rest of it. We do that. And we've been consistently successful over the years. Next slide, please. Now we want to grow. ZRCN throughout its history has always been a self-funded company. What's that mean? We were private. We liked it that way. But now we have so much opportunity, primarily with new developments in technology, that really allow us to broaden our appeal and broaden our markets and so on. We're looking for outside capital to help us grow. We can't fund it anymore by ourselves. The opportunity is just too vast. It's too great. So we've rejiggered our company to become a publicly traded company, which we are now. Our stock started trading, earlier this year, and it's available. And so we're really seeking to become a much more aggressive marketeer and designer of these types of products. Next slide, please. So a little bit of our track record. We introduced the stud sensor in 1980. The company's actually 5 years older than that. So for 45 years, we've been specialists in this category, always leading with new technology and new innovation, all the way up to today, where we are refocusing our company and becoming not less product oriented, but really focusing on the well-being of the company itself in order to provide sustainable growth. Next. We have the brand. We've always had the brand. People that are familiar with our brand know us for the stud sensors, but we're more than that. We have other types of technology. We have metal detectors that do various important jobs, like detecting rebar and concrete, for example. We have drill guides to allow an installer to drill through a wall where he wants to and not hit anything along the way. We have leak detection capabilities, and we have a whole new product category that's focused on preventing water damage through our detection skill set and technology, and alert the user to circumstances where water damage can cause a lot of problem. We have leveling tools, we have circuit breaker locators, we have all kinds of different products, all built with the same attention to detail and the same focus on innovative technology that we brought to market in the original stud sensor. Next, please. A little bit more elaboration on the types of product categories we're in now. Notice that these are all handheld devices. all intended to provide, a service at the point of use, as opposed to some sort of a larger system. We'll get to that in a minute. Next, please. We've introduced the next generation stud finders. I mentioned earlier that the original stud finder was intended to sense changes in density to find the edges of a wooden stud. And they do that very well. To make the device as accurate as possible, we focused early on precise calibration and precise measurement of wall density, so you could accurately locate the edges and the walls of a dense object in the wall. Problem. There are other objects inside the wall other than wooden studs. There are pipes, there are wires, there are plastic pipes. There's a lot of obstacles in the wall that you definitely want to avoid, and not make the mistake of thinking that a PVC drain pipe is actually a wooden stud and drill through it. It happens. So the next generation stud finder introduces a technology that we have upgraded and detects through multiple sensors in the device, streaming their data simultaneously. We can actually detect wood and filter out metal. We can detect the wood and filter out low density objects like plastic pipe. So these devices have presented an unparalleled degree of safety and convenience for the user, and we believe that they'll very quickly become the standard. The original stud finder that could sense density without differentiating between wooden density and metal density, we now call that a Class C stud finder. Other devices have selectable modes where you can manually select between a wooden target and a metal target. We call those Class B. And the fully automatic one-step operation, we call those Class A stud finders, because they do everything for you with very little room for error. Next, please. Another version of our next generation stud finder. We're increasingly focusing on the user interface and trying to avoid any confusion, and doing a lot of work, for example, with color coding to make it unmistakable what's being detected inside the wall. Next, please. We have more stuff coming. I mentioned earlier that we had an expanded offering forthcoming for our leak alert detection system. Previous generation was a single device. You can buy one, put it under the sink, and it'll alert you through a loud noise when there's a leak detected. Latest generations of our device, which you'll see introduced large scale later this year, involve many dozens or even hundreds of these devices, all interacting with each other in a form of a mesh, and alerting the user through an app that will allow him to monitor his home or his business or even multi-unit installations 24/7, no matter where he is or what he's doing. Next, please. We have a scalable growth platform. I mentioned that we're a manufacturing company. We are a manufacturing company. That means that we can take our manufacturing expertise and transplant that into new operations and new assembly lines and new levels of scale very quickly and very easily. Other companies that aren't quite as proficient have a lot of trouble scaling up, especially when they're getting involved with new vendors and whatnot, and that's all very problematic. Our distribution system. We're global logistics experts. So we have inventories throughout North America, Canada, Europe, Asia, all ready to leap into action and ship any volume of product anywhere in the world very quickly and efficiently. And as I mentioned, we're also very heavily involved in R&D, including full custom chips, firmware development, software development, app development, and everything that a modern consumer products company needs to come out with the latest and greatest. Our growth strategy is to grow, very simply. We have toeholds in Europe, we have toeholds in Asia, we have toeholds in other markets around the world. We want to expand those. We want to expand our product offerings. We have core technology sitting in our labs, which is mind-blowing in a lab demonstration. We need to bring those to market. We have strategic initiatives. We feel like there's a lot of headroom with our brand and our awareness that we could very easily be considering a range of M&A targets that we've already identified. And we want to monetize our intellectual property better, possibly through licensing or business development activities elsewhere. We're solid. We've always been solid. We've always been self-funded. We've always been profitable. And I think our conservative bent towards efficiency and operational excellence has really borne fruit to this date and should serve us well as we expand into the future. Next. We have a very consistent level of profitability and growth. We did well during the COVID years, and we're looking to expand this even further as we inject some fresh capital into our merchandising and our awareness and brand expansion and product line expansion. Next. Some financial summaries, still growing. Next. Same story. Next. Next. Revenue by geography. As I mentioned, we're dominant in North America, and that's where most of our business comes from. We do have a toehold in other markets, other major markets. We seek to expand those. We have the product line to do that. Next. Our leadership team, as I mentioned, I'm the CEO. Mr. Robert Weiler is our general counsel and secretary. He's also one of the founders of the company. Jeff Parsons is our CFO, very experienced in public filings and public reporting requirements. Next. Joe Bronson is a stalwart financial executive here in Silicon Valley, former CFO of Applied Materials, a very large semiconductor company. Linda Grabner has been involved in the housewares industry for a very long time and has always served in a very strong leadership capacity. And Brian Wong is a technologist, also from the semiconductor industry, and an investment banker. So that concludes my talk today. Hopefully you've gotten a little taste of the company and able to turn the page and find out some more things. At this point, I'd like to answer any questions from the audience. How is ZRCN managing the tariff situation? Good question. Like a lot of people, like a lot of companies, we were somewhat blindsided by the enormous tariffs that were laid at our feet just a few months ago. We had a couple things working for us. Number one is we had enough of a sound financial footing where we could actually pay those tariffs, and they were onerous. We're talking, 7 figures over the course of a very short period of time, a few weeks, but we paid the tariffs. Meanwhile, we leapt into action to relocate some of our manufacturing, in fact, all of our manufacturing, out of very high tariff environments like China into other areas which are very low or zero tariffs, for example, our own factory in Ensenada. Because we have a competent supply chain level of expertise, because we're a manufacturing company, because we fully understand our own products and how to build them and how to source everything required reliably and put everything together in an efficient package, we're able to accomplish in really just a few weeks moving assembly lines what other companies struggle with for years in some cases. So we handled the tariffs. Because we had a plan, we were able to pass what tariffs we needed to off to our customers, who passed them on to their customers. But we had an ability to sunset the tariffs after just a few months. And because we could do that, we had very little problem dealing with our major customers, even though price-related increases is not something they like to acknowledge. We got our stuff through. Next question. What is our international growth strategy? We have toeholds. We have what I call proof of concept across the world. We're selling our products into DIY markets and to professional services in Asia, in Europe, across North America. And as I mentioned, a lot of our new product efforts, stuff that you'll see this year, is aimed directly at the construction technology industry worldwide. And we expect there to be a very strong international market. New product categories. Where is the opportunity for new product categories? Think of it this way. We became famous by making the stud sensor. And what the stud sensor really does is pinpoint what's going on behind a surface, an opaque surface, on a minuscule level. Think of it as a pixel. Think of it as looking at a TV picture, pixel by pixel by pixel, as you go across the wall. Our latest technologies and what we're aiming for are intended to help the user see not just a pixel at a time, but the big picture. What is really going on behind that wall surface? And by extension, in any level of infrastructure examination, any level of building condition, we have sensors now that can detect much, much more than a wooden stud. We can detect all kinds of other artifacts behind the wall, and even the condition of those artifacts. Is there moisture? Is there rot? Is there asbestos? Things of that nature, all are within our wheelhouse. And we think there's a large market for that. So, thank you for attending my conference today. Any questions, you can please direct them to the virtual conference people, and we'll be happy to respond to you in short order. Thank you very much.